All right, it is a new day. So I just got back from drive shaft shop. Our front and rear drive shafts are done, rebuilt, balanced, everything good to go. So I think that's actually what we're gonna do. I want to throw this in. I want to be a piece of cake. The front, most cases when you do straight action swap, the front does not clear the transmission cross member. So I think I want to get these in and get them done. That way, it's one more thing underneath the truck that's done. And then we can finally, hopefully later this week, I can move up to the engine bay and start ripping the engine apart. Because I'd really like to hear this thing run before the end of the month. So let's get this done. Okay, one down, one to go. Okay, so I have the drive shaft connected up in the transfer case. So this is it. This is full droop. This is as low as we can go. Drive shaft is striking transmission cross member. Now, if we're measuring from our yoke to our drive shaft, we're actually sitting at 8 1/4 inches of down travel before it contacts transfer case. But that's a lot, actually. That is a lot. So if let me put this up in here. All right, so drive shaft's at rest now in the pinion yoke, and we've got like 1.5 inches, maybe a little bit more clearance there. So we can go down 8 inches at the pinion yoke before we contact the transmission cross member. But if I recall correctly, we set the shocks up 4 up, 7 down. I think that's what we went for. And the shock is outboard the pinion yoke by a good amount. So I don't think we have to modify the transmission cross member. I think I'm gonna take a wild guess here and say that if we go down, there's probably a formula for this, but I don't know it, right? So even if we go down 7 inches at the shock, this truck's totally twisted up off-road. The pinion is not going to come down 7 because it's inboard, so it's going to travel on a shorter arc than the shock is. Well, if it comes down 5, it's not going to hit, drive shaft's not going to hit the transmission cross member. And I'm assuming, because we're shackle reversal, that the pinion is going to rotate down on down travel. But I can't see this pinion going down 6 inches. And even if it does go down 6 inches, it's not going to hit the transmission cross member. So I think we're going to run with it. I think I'm just going to bolt this thing up to the Dana 60. I think we're going to run with it. It'll be good enough to drive down the highway, which means it'll be good enough that I can put it on the road, and then we can maybe we'll hitch up the trailer and we'll pull the truck up on the trailer ramps and try and like twist it up and articulate it, and we'll check for clearances on everything, and we can check it then. But from everything I'm seeing right here, like, I don't see any reason to modify transmission cross member at all. I think it's just going to work. So screw it, we're going with it. Let's put this thing in. Okay, cool. So we have drive shafts. So that's killer, man, because this thing is basically a 4x4 again. But I'm not ready. I really need to dig in under the hood. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but when we bought this truck, we only got it for a couple $100 because it didn't run. Fuel gas tank was completely rotted out. Fuel pump was shot. Whatever. We never got to hear it run. I only heard it sputter a little bit on fuel. But the question is the transmission any good? You know, it's a 351. I can get it to run, but I don't know if the transmission is in any what kind of shape it is. It's a 1990. It's an E4OD. There's probably something wrong with it. the first generation of these transmissions were not exactly known for being reliable. So there could be something wrong with the transmission, but we don't know because it doesn't run, so I can't drive around the yard. So I'm at this kind of like crossroads right now because there's a lot of stuff that I would like to do to the transmission that I am afraid to do because I don't know if the transmission's any good. So I guess, okay, so my 96 Bronco was in a very similar situation. We bought a truck that didn't run for a couple $100 only. It didn't even have a complete engine. Half the engine was missing, right? So we bought that truck, pulled the 302 out. We put a 351 in because it's what I found. You know, rewired the truck to run on the 351, put it on the road. This is a bridge. There's a shit ton of other stuff we did. Put it on the road, and hey, there's a weird funny noise. So pulled the transmission back out because even though it shifted okay, it was making a funny noise. Pull it back out, and here we had found that the retaining ring for the overdrive apply piston had actually fallen out of its groove. And that's a big deal. That's a known failure point on the E40s. And that's a 96, okay? Ford never fixed that one. The aftermarket did. This is a 90. This is only the second model year for this transmission. There are issues in this transmission that should be resolved. So there are things I'd like to do. There's a bunch of stuff I did to the green one. I did the pump correction kit. We did a couple of the updated retaining rings, and we did a valve body from Punisher Valve Bodies. And you know, all in the name of preservation, not because I wanted a performance shift or anything. We just did all this stuff to help make sure that the transmission would be good for a reliable daily driver. And it has been. I've got like 80,000 miles in that truck since I put it on the road. The trans is fine. So these are a lot of things. These are all the same things I would like to do with this trans. But I'm leery of doing them because I'm afraid I'm going to put it on the road. It's not going to shift. And then I'm not going to know if I screwed it up or if it was screwed up when we bought it. So this sucks because either way, there's the potential for rework. But I'm going to take the gamble. I'm going to assume that the owner the guy we bought the truck from was a real nice guy. And I'm going to believe him. I'm going to believe the transmission was okay. So, you know, you look at the fluid on the stick, it looks like old fluid, but it doesn't look all burnt and gross. So I'm going to believe him. The transmission's okay. So I'm going to roll back under the truck. I'm just going to drop the pan. I want to drain the fluid out so we can do a new filter and put the pan back up. I think I'm going to order the 4R100 pan for the drain plug because this doesn't have a drain plug, so this is going to suck and spill oil all over the place. So I'm going to drop the pan right now, and then I'm going to go place an order for like a lube blocker gasket and 4R100 trans pan. And I'm not going to order any of the parts for the transmission because I want to get it on the road and I want to feel it shift before we go any farther. And once I know it's okay, then we can simply drop it. You know, maybe we'll pull the transmission and we'll look at the front, do the front pump mods and stuff, or maybe we'll take the, roll the dice and just do the valve body. I'm not sure yet, but I'm not willing to take the risk that I'm going to screw it up. I want to know if it's screwed up before I invest any money into it, because if it's shedding metal and I put a valve body in it, I'm going to get metal in the valve body, and I'm going to have to. Maybe I can clean it. Maybe I'm just going to ship it back to Punisher. You know, there's the potential for a lot more wasted money in that direction. So we're going to drop a pan. We're going to drain the oil. We'll put a new pan up in its place because, like I said, I want the drain. And that's where we're going to stop. You know, we'll do a fluid change on the transfer case, but I'm not going to screw with the transfer case yet. Same thing. I want to get it on the road because if I'm pulling the transmission to do all the front pump mods, then I'll rebuild the transfer case at that point in time because it'll already got a wood. So we're just going to do this, get that done, and then hopefully later this week we'll go under climb up the ladder here and we'll start ripping the motor apart because I want to do a timing chain and some other stuff before we fire it up. So that's it. I'm losing my voice. That's enough chit chat. Let's get back to work. All right. Oh God. Here goes something, even if it's wrong. Oh, great. Well, that's not good. Off to a rocky start already. Hey, that one came out. Oh boy. Okay. Sweet. GM. Original from 1990. The filter in this pan. Oh, it's already dripping. Already dripping. Oh, jeez. I gotta go faster. There goes nothing. Oh. Oh, God. All right, I guess let's see what we got. Oh. Okay, so I got the filter out. It looks like the gasket is still stuck in there, so I'm gonna have to dig that out later. It's a Filtran brand, so I'm guessing somebody serviced a transmission at some point in time. The pan itself looks pretty good. It's a little bit of clutch material on the magnet, but not anything out of the ordinary for 150,000 miles, man. But I mean, I think we're all right. Like, to me, it doesn't look out of the ordinary. The fluid is dark, but not burnt. It's still, you know, just indication that it's old and it's full of clutch material. So I think we're okay, man. Like, I think we, you know, like I said, I wanted to believe the guy. He was a nice guy. I think he was on the level. I don't think there's anything wrong, or at least there's nothing in the pan indicating there's anything wrong. So I think we're going to do that. And we're just going to throw a filter at it, put a new pan on it, and close it up for now. And we'll come back and we'll do all the actual upgrades after it's on the road and we feel it shift and make sure it doesn't shudder or anything crazy like that. And so I think that's going to be it for today, and tomorrow we're going to come out here and continue working on the drivetrain. Right, well, our new Dorman 4R100 trans pan came in with a nice drain plug on it. I got our blue blocker gasket, got a new filter in the box, and I also picked up this neat little guy here. This is made by Superior, and it's a clip specifically designed to hold the filter in place, since these things are known for randomly falling off, since there is nothing but that little rubber gasket to hold it in place. So I'm going to go throw the filter on. I'll show you how this clip goes on, and then we're going to put the pan on and move on. Okay, there you go. That's it. Just take this one bolt out of your valve body, install a clip, done. Piece of cake. All right, so there you have it. Transmission pan is installed. Everything's all buttoned up, ready to go. So I think it's time I stop stalling, and next video we're going to jump under the hood, start ripping the motor apart, and see what we find. Thanks for watching.